Hey guys, Zane here with another One Take review, and today I wanted to talk about the new Florence and the Machine album, Dance Fever. Dance Fever is the latest album from Florence and the Machine, the English pop/rock, but mainly pop group that have really become not only a cult favorite, but even somewhat of a mainstream favorite as well, and definitely a band that have hugely represented alternative sounds within the realm of more popular music, and their latest record, Dance Fever, feels like a further leaning into a pop yet more experimental and progressive direction. As she has proven time and time again, lead singer as well as primary songwriter, which is something I'll mention in a moment, Florence Welch, is just one of the most gorgeous vocalists in all of alternative music at the moment, and her smoothness, her soulful capabilities, and even her general power in her voice should never be underestimated in any situation that she chooses to put herself in as a singer. That being said, the very emotive vocals here that could maybe be traced back to their work on How Big, How Blue, How Beautiful are maybe some of Florence's most powerful yet. This especially works out for songs like Dream Girl Evil, which effectively try to build up these walls of very grand and powerful, moving sound before just coming crashing down around the listener in every direction, and a lot of that is thanks to Florence Welch's vocals. Every Florence and the Machine album up to this point has been documentation of Florence Welch as a evolving vocalist and as an evolving singer. That being said, Dance Fever may ultimately be her most defining individualistic artistic statement. The same could also be said about the compositions themselves, which feel more mature and perhaps even more developed than the band ever have before. This doesn't mean that any sense of excitement is removed for the sake of softer and seemingly more developed sounds. Rather, Florence and the Machine continue to build upon and develop ideas that they introduced or at least hinted at from their earliest works to their more recent output, while still maintaining the same passion and the same energy that made them such an interesting band when they first debuted. Although the Machine certainly play a bit of a back burner role in comparison to Florence herself, if I'm being honest, they always have, the instrumentation that's found on Dance Fever is essential nonetheless. I also feel obligated to say that the songwriting here is quite strong as well. Primarily done by Florence Welch herself as one of the album's several producers, Jack Antonoff, who is famous for working with artists like Lana Del Rey and Taylor Swift. The songwriting on Dance Fever is very mystical and mysterious and greatly plays to Florence Welch's vocals and personality type. Because of that, her very witchy style of self-presentation is really benefited by this type of songwriting, while all the same allowing her to remain emotive and very striking throughout the record's entire runtime. I mean, it would be a fair argument to say that the songwriting on Florence and the Machine, not only Dance Fever, but just all of their discography in general, has just been done hundreds of times before by other similar alternative bands that have made arguably similar sounds. I digress. I still do think that enchanting and very mysterious, enticing songwriting is a key component of the back-to-back consistency of Dance Fever and Florence and the Machine's work on this record. Above all, however, Dance Fever feels like Florence and the Machine at their most creatively inspired, artistically inspired in a good while. Now, admittedly, much of Dance Fever is revolved around pop-based sounds, however, it doesn't limit itself to one style of pop. You've got progressive pop influences, that's arguably the main type of pop here, but you've also got synth pop influences, and even disco influences. There's a wide range of subgenres from the world of pop music that Florence and the Machine heavily take. It may be true that this variety of musical directions does make things feel a bit unhinged at times, but generally it works out from a cohesion standpoint. Dance Fever definitely stays within the realms of one ballpark, but it's not afraid to explore every inch of that ballpark, which is really why it works out so well in the end. And while saying that Florence and the Machine's work here would be boundary pushing or anything like that, it's definitely not true, it's definitely pushing it. I still do think there's a level of respect warranted to give to the band for really just taking genres, or subgenres, I should say, and sounds that they've sort of dabbled with or dipped toes into in the past, and really taking them to their furthest extent while still feeling like Florence and the Machine and all of their artsy mysticalness at heart. So overall, Dance Fever is much, much more than just Florence and the Machine maturing. This record sees the band continue to take themselves more and more seriously as time goes on, with a level of artsiness that potentially outranks their entire back catalog up to this point. Not only is Dance Fever one of the world of alternative music's favorite bands, continuing to make excellent work 5 albums into their career, but it's also just a triumph of alternative pop music, which is why I'm going to give Dance Fever 4.5 stars out of 5. I don't know if I was expecting to like this one as much as I did, even though I really deeply enjoyed the singles, but nonetheless, I think that Dance Fever turned out amazingly and potentially deserves the title of Best Florence and the Machine album yet, and that's saying something because all 4 of their prior albums have been great to varying extents, but nonetheless, Dance Fever, 4.5 stars out of 5, and with that being said, that's the end of this review, and I'll see you guys in the next one.